this is Jamie Magrich. Welcome to Jamie's Craft Table. Today I'm going to show you how I made this card. So let's get started. It was inspired by Karen Titus from Stamping on the Back Porch. She did a challenge on making any cards using this layout. So that's where it came, the design came from. Not just the layout. Okay, and I'm using the seasonal basket dies, the seasonal blessings. I'm using seasonal swirls dies. I have a bow tied from the gingham ribbon. I have a 2 3/4 by 4 inch piece of white, a 3 by 4 1/4 inch piece of black, 2 pieces of designer series paper that are 2 inches by 2 inches by 5 1/4 inches. So you just do a 4 inch by 5 1/4 inch piece and then cut it in half. I have a 3 by 5 inch piece of white to go on the inside, a 2 by 5 1/4 inch piece of white to go on the inside on the other side. My card base is 7 1/2 by 5 1/2, and I scored it at 3 1/4 inch. Or you make a standard card base and cut 1 inch off. I have a scrap of white to stamp on and a scrap of crumb cake to die cut my wreath out of. And let's get started here. Put these aside. Let's do my stamping and die cutting first, and then I'll come back and do all this. Okay, so let's do the stamping first. I didn't even get my stamps out. Shame on me. Okay. So I'm just going to take this off. I'm going to peel off I need this one. And I'll need this one. This one, and I guess I use this one. This one that's red. Just a little tiny center. Okay. All right. So for inks, I have Mossy Meadow, Magenta Madness, Gorgeous Grape, and Mango Melody. And I've got an ink dauber. You can use a sponge, you can use your blending brush. I'm just using that today. Okay, so I'm going to start by bringing out the Magenta Madness. And this large one. I'm going to open the Gorgeous Grape as well. And I'm going to ink this up with the Magenta Madness. And I'm going to bring my sponge dauber and I'm going to get some ink from the Gorgeous Grape, and I'm going to pounce that around the outside edge. Okay, then I'm going to stamp it. I only need one of the large ones. Perfect. Where am I going to put it? There isn't a good place right now. My room is an absolute disaster. Okay, now I'm going to get the smallest one. I'm going to repeat that. This one looks like a stamped off version, but I'm going to do it the same way. For my original, I just used some that I had laying on my desk from a different project I was trying out. Okay, then I'm gonna bring in a scratch paper. Make sure this is mostly cleaned off. And I'm gonna stamp into the gorgeous grape. And I'm going to... Alright, and then let's close these two because I'm done with those. The centers are the Mango Melody. This little one here. I just stamped it and I picked it up and repeated it. That one needs a little bit more. Okay, actually let's do this one again too. Perfect. Alright, now I'm going to come in, I need 2 sets of the leaves with the mossy meadow. One. Oh, this is really juicy ink pad. Okay. You could get away probably with a 1/8 sheet almost. Alright. Now we need to get out the dies. Trying to squeeze this in real fast. This morning before my husband gets back from work, he has a doctor's appointment today. Need to take him to. Alright, there's that one. It's this one here with all the little fall-like leaves on it. You could color those leaves in, but I chose not to. That's going to get cut out of the crumb cake. And then that's from the wreath one. And then out of this one, we need this one here for the little ones. And look for the 2. See the 2 together? That's how you line that one up. This one here, and this one's got the one that pokes out the side. And then the leaves. And I'm going to go run these through my die cut machine, and I will be right back. Okay, I've got all my pieces, and this is an awesome dies, because this is one pass through my die cut machine. It cut perfectly. Okay, let's bring in these pieces. Set these aside for a minute. Okay. So we're going to bring in this piece that's 7.5 inches by 5.5 inches, and I scored it and folded it at 3 1/4. Okay, and then I'm going to bring in the two by 5 1/4 inch pieces of Designer Series paper. And I'm going to bring in some glue. And I'm going to put some glue on the back. You can use your snail or your seal, whatever glue you prefer. And the first one, I don't know if you're going to be able to see it. It's going to go on this side over here. And the top, the left side, and the bottom are going to have the same 1/8 of an inch border, approximately. Okay. And then we're going to open up the card. This one's going to go on the right side, right here. Same thing, it's going to have that same border around the 3 edges. Okay, now we're going to bring in that 2 by 5 1/4 inch piece of white. That's going to go on this, in this spot here, so you have a place to write, or just you can't write on the black card. So, and that's the same height as this designer series paper, so it should butt up right against it, and then have a border around on the 3 sides. Okay, this other piece is a little bit shorter, but that's going to go here. You can make it the 5 1/2 inches if you want. I just had a scrap paper, so I'm copying it exactly how I did it. I had a piece that I thought was 5 1/2, and it was a little bit shorter. And that's going to go here. Alright. Oh, and I just remembered, I should have stamped 2 more of the purple ones, little ones, to go on the inside. I have some sitting here on my desk, so I'm just going to use those for today. But I should have stamped 2 more. That's why I needed that large of a piece. Okay, now we're going to bring in, set this aside, we're going to bring in our white piece. It's 2 3/4 by 4 inches. We're going to bring in our wreath. We're going to set our wreath down. We want these couple little leaves over here on this side, so we're going to just set it here. See how we like it. So we'll see there's just a few leaves that are going to be on the card. So we're going to put a little bit of glue on those spots. And we're going to go ahead and set it down. And we want it to be more towards the top. And it doesn't have to be perfectly the same as mine. It can be any way you want it. Okay, now I'm going to bring in my flowers. And I'm going to want 1 set of leaves here. I'm going to want 1 set of leaves over here. I'm going to want 1 small flower there. 1 small flower here, and this one is going to get a dimensional. So first thing I'm going to do, lay it out how I want it. I want these leaves to be a little more sticking out. Okay. Pick them up, move them how you want them. Okay, let's pick up this big one. Set it aside, put a dimensional on the back of it, a couple of them. You can get away with just 1, but I'm going to go ahead and put 3 on. Have it ready. And I'm going to go ahead and glue down these ones that I want flat. Go there. Go on a little more this way, so I want that little leaf to show. And glue this one down. This one I want tucked under the wreath a little bit there. And let's go ahead and put our flower on. It's going to help hold the wreath down as well. can glue these other two flowers in. You could use glue dots even. Go on. This doesn't really matter. I do want this pink one on top of the purple one. Alright, then I'm just going to come in with my bow. I'll bring in a glue dot and get to them. Add a glue dot to the back of that. And this is going to go up here. Tuck that glue in behind it. There we go. Now this whole entire thing will get mounted onto the 3 by 4 1/4 inch piece of black. There's 1/8 of an inch border because it's 1/4 inch smaller than the black piece. Okay, now I'm going to bring in our card. I'm going to figure out this is going to go right in the center. So you can't put adhesive on this edge, but like 3/4 of it you can. So I'm going to bring in some dimensionals. And I'm going to do it like this so I remember which side. I'm going to set it down and I'm going to flip it over this way. Right on top of my card where I know where I want it to be. Okay, take those backs off. Okay, and center it up in the center of the card, or wherever you want it to be. Set it down. Okay, there's the card we just made together. Oh, the other two flowers, I put one here, and I put one here. Let's go ahead and do that. You don't have to do that, or you could stamp directly on that white piece. That would work as well. Here's the one I did previously. Now this one was a stamped off version of this. There you go. Well, thank you for joining me today at Jamie's Craft Table. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I hope you can find a little bit of time to play with some stamps, ink, and paper.